Business has three main areas. The first area is the performance partnership program work, and that's to do with supporting a small number of managing directors over a minimum of 12-month period, and I kind of become their performance partner for that period. So I will support them and their executive team for a minimum of 12 months. Most is probably going to be about 3 years, probably on average. That's the first part. Second part is the speaking, which is made up of workshops and keynote presentations. And I'll do anything between 40 and maybe 50, 60 presentations a year. And then the final part is the online courses and sort of coaching that helps me reach people further afield, where they don't have to make so much of an investment in money, and it's flexible. So I have the three areas and they're all fairly interlinked,
Where did you grow up and go to school?
Right, Sunderland, so local, so stayed really in the northeast, went to school there, then worked for Northern Electric, the big sort of electric PLC based at Newcastle. That was my main real sort of background in terms of business. I was a senior retail manager for them, and they had a thing called the Education Incentive Scheme, so they put me through business school, which was great, which is Newcastle Business School. I did an MBA there, and then ran my own retail business, and then for the last 6 years, 5-6 years, I've been focusing just on this side of things, where I really just work very closely with people, rather than a retail background, which is what I have, so slightly changed. I had a retail business for a while, about 6 years, based in the northeast, and then I decided to focus really quite tightly on where I was expert. And since doing that sort of 5 years ago, have just totally taken off, and it's just loving every day, doing what I should be doing, working with people I should be working with, creating the impact I want to create, getting fabulous feedback, and it's just great, I love business. I was looking through my bookcase recently, and it was funny because there's a book there called the Book of Business, Money and Power, and I bought it when I was 16, So I've really always been interested in business and, how it works and how people can run business and how they can improve themselves. So that's the main background, and I'm kind of massively passionate about personal development, so I do a lot of work myself in that area, so I'm kind of practicing what I preach, if you like, There's essentially me, but jokingly refer to myself as Frank Sinatra. Frank wouldn't do his own website and design and stuff, so I bring experts in, and they're all on the team on a sort of a project-by-project basis. Every single member of the team is new in the last 12 months. And I think that's something that some businesses don't do enough of, which is review who supports you, who are your vendors, if you like, who you buy your services and products off, and do you actually assess them enough? Because as you grow, you need to make sure that the support you're getting and the people who are challenging you and providing a service are growing as well, If your team is providing a result that you are happy with and content with, and it is enabling you to execute your plans and your ideas, then that's fine. What some companies do, and I come across this, is if I ask them, and I do this when I work with senior teams, I'll ask them to rate their team from, say, 1 to 10. And you would be surprised how many senior teams, how many managing directors have got 6 out of 10 people in their team. Well, for me, if you're going to execute exceptionally on a consistent basis, you can't have people who are 6 out of 10. So, I'm not saying that it's not a ruthless mindset. It's a mindset to enable you to execute consistently. And to do that, everyone has to be up to speed, I've invested a great deal, and when I look at the percent of sales over the last 3 years of what I've invested, the investment I've made is significant. It's quite funny, recently someone was saying, Paul, it's okay for Pete, he's an overnight success story, and I'm like laughing because yes, we're doing really well, but I'm an overnight success story that was 4 years in the making, and people don't say that, Of all the stuff we've planned and done and worked on, we're now really getting the benefits, and the business is just absolutely taking off. In the last 3 years, the business has grown by about 300-400%. Yeah, it's significant. It is significant, and this year we're going to be about 55% up on the previous year. And then once the online kicks in, that'll just ramp up even further. My motivation really is I absolutely need to become the very best version of myself. And I have had glimpses of what that looks like, and I realise that most people just play it far too safe. Most people think far too small. Most people never really challenge themselves to the degree that I think people should. And I am absolutely passionate about living an absolutely full life, whether that's with relationships, family time, holidays, business, health. You know, I am fairly intense, and that's not for everyone, but I am absolutely passionate about making sure that I have a full life. So you know, I live and breathe it, and you know, I don't want to get to a situation where I look back and think I could have done a bit better there. I think it takes someone who's prepared to sort of put their thoughts and their ideas on the line and take a risk and look to add value. Even when I was 18-year-old, I was entrepreneurial. I used to drive down to Leeds and buy loads of towels and bedding and then just sell them around the nursing homes in the northeast. You know, my dad always ran businesses, mainly engineering, and my mother was just a natural born salesperson who just loved people. But yeah, I mean, I've always had an interest in business, and I've always been a fairly driven person. And there was a very strong work ethic. You know, there was a sort of a message about working hard. So even at sort of 16-year-old, 17, I'd be working in Dixon's pork shops during the day on a Saturday, and then going up to work in a bar on the night time, working about, I think it's about 17 hours a day on a Saturday. but you know, I had the freedom that brought, you know. No, I drove that myself, really. Yeah, there was no pressure from parents to do that. But I've always really been driven, and always worked very hard. The flip side of that, of course, is that when you start really doing what you love to do, you've got to get that blend right, because I could easily work, you know, more and more, but I've got to get that work-life blend. So I'm now getting that balance right for me, you know, and my family.